the dynamic of comedy changed. And who got booked and what the room was like. And then it started becoming very like what you can say, what you can't. Like when I first started in comedy in New York, it was the Patrice O'Neal days. It was try to go as far as you possibly can. Go ahead, see. And then like the people in the back would be almost supporting you. Be like, this motherfucker really just trying to rape joke. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it would be like supportive. And like if you bombed whatever, then it became the opposite.
It got woke.
It got so woke so quick. But before the world knew what woke was, the entertainment industry did. And it became like gender theory, queer theory. There was nonstop.
Was there a moment when woke was a positive thing?
Oh, that's a great question.
I feel like there was. I feel like there was a moment where woke was like, I'm woke. I'm awakened to the stuff. But then it quickly became.
I think it was black people. Actually,
I think the Me Too stuff was really
cool
necessary.
I think so. I think they were the ones that started it. Of like, hey, dude, I'm woke to what's going on here.
Right.
And then white people obviously ruin everything. So that's what happened after that.
I think Me Too was necessary. I think the reaction to like, having to get butt by Harvey Weinstein to live out your dream is not what anybody wants for their daughter, sister, wife. You know what I mean? Like, so I think all of us can empathize with that.
I had to ask my wife about it, dude. She was like, look, man, if I just suck it to get that Oscar, is that a bad thing?
And
she was like, that cost me an Oscar. You know, the Me Too cost me an Oscar. I'm kidding, but she says it all the time. But it depends on what you're there for, right? Because go back to Chaz Palminteri. You have the choice. And we've said this on Ross Patterson Revolution, too, where like with the Harvey Weinstein, you went up to the hotel room, you know, like, why? Why were you going up there in the first place?
I pretty much agree.
I don't think so. So if Dana White made you suck his dick to get in the UFC, otherwise you couldn't be in the UFC, you'd be like, well, you got to do what you got to do.
No.
Of course.
I know, but I'm saying going to the hotel room.
For a title fight? What if it's a title fight?
I'm a man first. I'm not sucking any man's
Well, that's the
dick
thing, right?
For
But if you're a vulnerable girl who moved all the way out to L.A., you're chasing your dream, and now here you are, you're with the executive producer, a guy who greenlights 30 films a year.
You have to be pretty naive to go to a man's hotel room. No, they know what they're doing.
No, but they don't think they're going to get the role if they don't, because if I don't do it, somebody else is going to do it, and they're going to get the role.
Yeah, they should like fake diarrhea or something.
But then somebody else gets the role.
But here's the thing about acting, and being out of it for a while now, you're able to look back and see it, is truthfully, there's 10, 12 other people who could have had the role. Like, there's rare occasions where you see something and you're like, oh, that was the person and that was it. Typically, you're up against 400 or 500 people, and if you look back on it, you're like, oh, well, I could have done that, and
Well, it's the writer, it's the post-production, and it's the director, and you put any monkey in that role, I mean, and they're going to do pretty good.
Right. So to me, like, if you're going up to a hotel room in the middle of the night, like, it's never great. It's never great with a stranger, let alone Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
So it's tough.
Well, I'm just trying to say, for like mixed point, like, was there ever, and look, anybody who, for the people who listen to this, like, and think they know the way I feel about woke culture. Anybody who knows me knows the way I feel. But if I have to give credit where it's due, I do think it existed for a reason. But I think it's been an overcorrection. And then beyond an overcorrection, I think
weaponized empathy.
I think a lot of bad people saw
an opportunity.
And that goes
against you.
And that goes back to, and I want to get into your career in writing and acting as well. But Bob Iger, to circle back with that, he finally now said the quiet part out loud. Probably because he's about to lose his company. The CEO of Disney, the high Bob Elon was talking about, who doesn't want to advertise on X anymore, said, we have focused too much on messaging. We have not made good enough movies, and that's why we're losing billions of dollars a year. So again, everybody's like, Elon's throwing away his company. I've never heard that once from anybody in the media ask why Disney lost half their market cap in 10 years.
Well, it's so both can be correct at the same time. So if you look at Disney, 10 out of the last 13 movies have bombed. I've seen almost every single one of those films, including the last one that just came out, Wish, over the holidays. I got 3 kids. They love to go to the movies. We got a great theater by my house. It's got a full bar, Barca Loungers, the whole shit. It's dope, right? So I'll go see anything they want every single weekend, which pretty much it is. What I've noticed from the writing side of it is you've got 80 different races jammed in there, some gender thing. You don't really have the stories that you used to. So a lot of it is purely in the writing and then trying to jam all these people and cultures and everything into the same thing.
It's lazy and it's hacky.
It is. And I said this
lazy, hacky, and preachy.
I know I said this on another show. Like, if you take the ones that my kids watch all the time, like a Moana. Even though it's all on a fictional island and a fictional place or whatever, you know the culture, you know the people, you know who they are, you know the family, and you're not really veering outside of that. Whereas a lot of this shit, the Wish movie that I just took my kids to that bombs, the one that they were talking about, you got this white king, a white queen, which makes me think that it's in England. It's not really in England. And then you've got this brown girl who is nondescript. You don't know if she's Mexican, Spanish, whatever the it is, and she's trying to take on the white king and queen, and you're like, all right, but what time period would that be in and everything else? It all gets so confusing where for kids, I think the simpler it is, with like a Snow White or something like that, where you got the 7 dwarfs, you can identify with all of them, and the simpler it is, the easier the kids can go along with it. Where now they've just overcomplicated all the stories and the scripts, where even I, as a parent sitting there, I'm like, I don't know where the fuck we are with.
Sure.
What city is this?
And how do you write a comedy where it's like, okay, my number one objective in this comedy is to make people laugh? No, it's not. It's to make sure that no one's offended and we can sell advertising.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so you want me to make a 90-minute commercial?
Pretty much.
Like, what the fuck?